Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2020 heavy-duty Ram and comparing it to a 2020 heavy-duty Chevy. So I am going to be going over some characteristics of the 2500 and 3500 with each of the trucks just to kind of make the video make a little bit more sense. But regardless, a huge shout out and thank you to the Chevy here in Provo for providing us with the Chevy 3500, and then a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Provo for providing us with the Ram 2500. Definitely check out their inventories in the link below. Let's just get right into it. Now let's go into the hoods of both of the trucks, starting with the Ram. Now you have two different diesel engine options. Now only one of them is available with the 2500, both of them are available with the 3500. So they're both 6.7 liter Cummins, they're inline sixes, they both go through 6-speed automatic transmissions. Now the difference is the first one goes through the 68 RFE transmission, and that one is good for 850 pound-feet of torque and then 370 horsepower. The second one goes through the 6-speed Ison and is good for 400 horsepower and then 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Now, going over to the Chevy, we have the 6.6 liter Duramax diesel. That goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission known as the Allison. In terms of power outputs, 445 horsepower and then 910 pound-feet of torque. So, more horsepower, more gears, less horsepower, more torque, less gears. Yeah, and that is everything for under the hoods of both of the trucks. Let's go over the front ends of both the trucks. Again, we're going to start with the Ram. So with the Ram, this one is in the Laramie package. So you notice that you got the little 2500 heavy duty badge there on the side of the truck. Full LED lights with the truck. You've got the LED accent lights. I think it's just a really nice clean look. Chrome is standard with the Laramie package. You got parking sensors, fog lights as well, tow hooks, all of that with this Laramie package. Now, coming over to the Chevy, you have kind of like this venting at the top of the hood, which I think looks pretty cool. And then right there on the side, notice that says Duramax and then Allison for the transmission. And then you've got the LED accent lights, which I really think they look really good, especially when you see it driving down the road. Full LED headlights as well, parking sensors, fog lights, tow hooks. So all of that, including the chrome, is pretty much the same. The design on them is just a little bit different. The Chevy just kind of has like a bigger look to it. And then notice the air dam on the Ram, just kind of how low that goes. And yeah, that's everything for the front. Let's go over the tire and rim setup. So we've got 275mm tires there and there, 20-inch rims, whereas Laramie we've got 18s. Now here's just a quick look at the front suspension, or at least part of it that we can see on the Ram, and then also on the Chevy. Oh, it's kind of hiding just a little bit more. Now I've got these little fender flares here on the Chevy, whereas the Ram, they're a lot larger. All of your badging here on the side that you guys can see, and then also on the Chevy, this one's got the Z71 package. There's the mirrors for the Chevy, there's the mirrors for the Ram, and let's head out back. Here's our key fob for the Ram. So you've got the unlock and the lock at the top and the remote start. So we'll quickly remote start the trucks. You guys can hear what that sounds like. Got that nice diesel hum to it. I love the sound of the Cummins. Now press that again and that'll shut it off. If we unlock it, the truck actually does have a slow lowering tailgate, so it is dampened, which is a nice little feature. Now looking at the bed here, notice that there is not a bed liner, no LED bed lights. Those are both options. There's your cargo light at the top of it. Now actually lifting up the tailgate, really easy and light. Here's our key fob for the Chevy. So again, you've got the unlock, the lock, the remote start, and then the drop down for the tailgate. Now you do have to lock it, and then for the remote start, you just have to hold this down and it'll start right up, but it's really quiet. Now, popping that off, we can do the tailgate lower down, so you just press that twice and that'll pop that down. Pretty convenient. This one does come with a bed liner. And also you do have LED lights on both sides. Got the little plug-in right there, and then you got the Chevy logo there, and then you do have a little cargo light at the top. Now lifting up the tailgate, it's actually pretty light. A little bit heavier than the Rams, but still really light. Now before we go over to the design elements in the rear, I just want to quickly touch base on the payload and towing capacity. So if you do get a Ram 3500, not a 2500 like this one is, you're going to be about 4,000 pounds roughly for the payload in the Laramie package, and then the Chevy is just under 4,000 pounds for the payload capacity. So there's just a little bit of a difference, but they're pretty much the same. Towing capacity for both of them with a single rear wheel in a 3500, and again using the Ison with that one, you're going to be kind of like higher teens roughly. Again, check your specific truck with the trim package you have, the engine you have, especially with the Ram because they have different engine options, so you can see exactly what your payload is and then also what your towing capacity is. But there's that for the trucks. Now let's go over the design elements in the rear. We'll start over with the Ram. So you've got those LED lights on both sides, all of the chrome badging. You've got parking sensors all along the bumper with the little receiver hitch as well. Pretty simplistic over on the Ram. Now coming over to the Chevy, you do have LED lights, and then again, logos, parking sensors, receiver hitch. I mean, everything on the back end of both these trucks. The design looks different, but the functionality is pretty similar. One last thing on the Chevy though, you do get these little bumper steps, so that does make getting into the back a little bit easier. Coming to the back of the Ram, here's the door panel in the rear. So we've got this nice suede insert with the wood trim, and then you've got the leather with the stitching all across. Now here are the seats in the back. So again, you got the suede inserts with the leather, really nice looking seats in general, pretty nice feel to them as well. This one's a crew cab, so you can pick this up. There's some extra storage underneath there, and there's a subwoofer. These floorboards fold out flat, so you can have like a flat loading floor. Now I am gonna pop in. Does not have side steps, so you do kind of have to pull yourself up. I'd recommend getting side steps. There is kind of a little power outlet with some USBs as well. I'm 5'11", got a decent amount of legroom, and headroom is pretty good as well. Now before we pop in the Chevy, I do want to mention side step, and then you also get a step into the bed, all that kind of stuff. This is pretty neat. So you do have keyless entry, so notice it's locked, and then you can unlock it all from the back. Now here is the panel. You actually do get stitching and kind of soft touch and wood trim back here, so they did do a pretty good job on the door panel. Now here are the seats in the back. Now I really like the look of these seats. You got nice contrasted stitching. I do have that functionality with some storage space on the back part of the seat, and then pulling it up, got some extra storage space into there. You've got the floor mats, and getting in with side steps, whole lot easier. Now once I'm in here, ooh, this cab is a lot bigger. So this is kind of more similar to like Ram's Mega Cab in terms of size. I mean, look how much legroom I have, and then headroom as well. About the same, but the legroom's the biggest difference. Now we do have a couple little USBs and then a 12-volt as well. Coming up to the front of the Ram, we do have keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, just pop your hand right there. And then here are the trailer mirrors. They do flip up, so got good visibility with that. Now coming over here, this is the door panel at the front. Notice it looks identical to what's in the rear of the Ram. All of your window controls, mirror controls in that section. Here are the seats. They say Laramie at the top, and again, you got the suede inserts. Really nice bolsters. Look pretty much identical to the ones in the rear. Power adjustments on the side of the seats. And then here are the pedals at the bottom. Got your light controls right there. You got the steering wheel adjustment, pedal adjustment, and there's one more look and one more thing to go over. We've got the stickers. So here's the sticker that goes over payload on this particular one. Again, remember, this is a 2500, and the payload is just right there. And then the other sticker, this is what's going to go over the gross vehicle weight rating, VIN number, all that kind of stuff. So you guys can freeze a frame if you want to read into that. Coming over to the Chevy, we do have that keyless entry, and here is the mirror, by the way, so massive, massive mirrors. So, unlocking the Chevy, looking at the door panel, it looks pretty much identical to the door panel on the rear of the Chevy, so yeah, pretty solid on that. You do have the controls for the mirrors, you've got the seat controls, the door lock and unlock, all that kind of stuff. Now, coming over to the seats themselves, full black leather. Bolsters are a little bit bigger than what's in the rear, but the seats themselves pretty much identical. You got your adjustments on the side of the seat, you got your pedal layout, little Z71 badging, you got your parking brake in that area. Light controls, you got your fog lights and your cargo light. Driveline select, so you got your auto, your 2-wheel high, your 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. And then that's your drive mode select. Now we'll show you a couple stickers. So this one is the one that's going to show you the payload. You can see that right there. And then just down here, and you guys can freeze the frame on this, here is your other sticker. And then you got the other one that's kind of hiding in there. Sorry, visibility on it's not great, but there's everything with the truck. Pop the Ram on, just press that. That will pop on, center screen will pop on, and everything will come to life. Here's a quick look at the steering wheel on the Ram. So really smooth leather all the way around. Black stitching on the center. You got your cruise control over here, gear selector on the other side. These are for the center stack, and then your voice command, phone control, all that kind of stuff. Pretty simple in general. This is a stock for the turn signal to do the high beams as well. Windshield wiper. Does have a column shifter over there. And then coming here into the center stack, you've got RPMs on the left side. On the right side, you got the speed. And then there's a couple different menus you can kind of scroll through just to give you different bits of information on the truck. The biggest takeaway is just look at the graphics on the menu just to kind of see how nice it actually looks. With the center infotainment system, we're going to pop it into reverse quickly. See the backup camera pop in. You do have the little zoom function on that as well. Resolution on it, super solid. With the rest of the infotainment system, notice you do get dual zone climate. Heated seats and heated steering wheel. The air conditioned seats, that is an option. Now with the rest of the screen, you can see that response time on it is super solid. And so yeah, just a really good infotainment system in general. Popping down, you got your controls for the radio, climate controls as well, and then the heated seats and heated steering wheel controls. Parking sensors in this little area. You got your tow haul mode, the diesel exhaust brake, trailer brakes over there. You got your 2-wheel high, your 4-wheel high, and then you've got your 4-wheel low, and then the true neutral. Couple of USBs down in that little area. Got this little storage container right here. You can just kind of open that up. And then this one does have the bench seat, so you get storage at the top of it. You got a couple coin holders and then a 12-volt. And then you've got all the cup holders right here. It does fold up to be a seat. And then there's some extra storage just underneath at the bottom. And then you got that little area, which, I mean, yeah, the foot area is not great on this. Now, do you have the center console? Opening that, or not the center console, sorry, the glove box, long day, but you've got the glove box. You can see that it's got a good amount of storage, and then notice there's nice stitching and kind of like soft touch just above it. Up top here, we do have the control for the power sliding window, and then universal garage door opener. Sunroof situation, this one doesn't have a sunroof, but you can get a single sunroof, no panoramic option is available on the Rams. Pop the Chevy on, so we just have to press that. Everything in the center stack will pop on, touchscreen will pop on. And let's take a look at this steering wheel. So you've got the little Chevy logo in the center. You've got these for the little center stack right there. Your voice command, phone control, and then the heated steering wheel, and then the cruise control. Got the collision assistance. Now you've got black stitching all along and then smooth leather around the whole steering wheel. And then you got the stock for the windshield wipers right over there. That also doubles your turn signal. And then this is the column shifter. Now notice that you do have the little buttons right there. That is to manually shift through the gears. Coming into the center stack, here is what the little gauge cluster looks like. RPMs on the left side, on the right side you've got the speed, and then you got that little screen there in the center, which basically shows you the same information that you get in the Ram. It just isn't as large, and it just doesn't look as like modern. Now here is the center infotainment system. We're gonna pop it into reverse so you guys can see what the camera looks like. There is your camera that pops up, and again, you do have the little zoom function for towing, which is really nice. And then other than that, let's go over the rest of the infotainment system. It will take a second to pop back. Response time on this infotainment system, really solid. And if you go back to the camera, notice that you can do it with both places, and you can change what the lines look like with the camera as well, which is pretty easy. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I like the look of this infotainment system, so I feel like compared to like Ram's 8.4 inch, this is pretty competitive. Now coming down, you've got the radio controls, and then just down here, you've got the controls for the climate system, and then heated seats. You can do the full seat or just the back of the seat. We've got a bunch of controls down here. Hill descent control, that is for the power outlets. Stability control, you got your hazard lights, tailgate, parking sensors. That is your lane departure, your diesel exhaust brake, and then you guys can see, I mean, there's tons of places to charge stuff down in this area. Your trailer brake controls are in that area. And then this one has a bench seat, so you've got some storage at the top of the seat, couple cup holders. You can lift this up, and you've got the full seat itself, and then you can lift that up for some extra storage just underneath. And then we're gonna finish over at the glove boxes. So dual glove box, just like in the Ram. It just looks like the top one isn't as big, and it's kind of like weird how it is kind of sloped in a negative manner, but that's the glove box situation, and you still get kind of like soft touch up at the dash. Now up top here, you've got your little lights, which you just press those in, there LEDs, and the window is actually fixed in the back, which is interesting. Now with the sunroof situation, regular sunroof, no panoramic in the Chevys either, and that's everything for the top. Now let's quickly go over pricing with the truck. So this Chevy stickers for about $70,000. The Ram stickers for about $63,000. Now, if you made this into a 3500 with the icing, which would be more competitive to the Chevy that I'm showing, that would sticker for closer to like $66,000 with the options that this particular truck has. And so from a price point standpoint, they're actually pretty close when you kind of spec them out, similar option to similar option. Now let's get into summing things up. So with the Ram, I feel like the interior is definitely nicer than what is in the Chevy. Technology is pretty similar. Now from the performance standpoint, more torque with the Ram, a little bit more horsepower with the Chevy, more gears, less gears, all that kind of stuff. Exterior styling, I think that's up to preference. I think both of them are good looking trucks in general. And so when it boils down to it, when they're selling for pretty similar amounts of money, it really is going to come down to preference. Now, yes, this is going to win from the interior standpoint. So if you do want a nicer interior, for sure go for the Ram. But yeah, I think the Ram barely pulls ahead, but I mean, it's not like by a huge margin like a lot of people thought when the Chevy was initially released. And again, a huge shout and thank you to the Chevy here in Provo and the Dodge here in Provo. Links to their inventory in the description below. Again, huge shout out to them for providing us with both the vehicles. I'll see all of you guys in the next video.